ride for you. Hit the ground for you. Make a sign for you. Give a crown to you. Bow down for you. Hit the ground for you. Make a sign for you.
Go ahead, make a rap for your Nani.
It's a rap.
Get the guap, spin the rack on your Nani.
Spin the rack.
Come through, give a dap to your Nani. If you really feeling good, spin a track for your Nani. Go ahead, make a rap for your Nani.
It's a rap.
Get the guap, spin the rack on your Nani.
Spin the rack.
Come through, give a dap to your Nani. If you really feeling good, spin a track for your Nani.
What's going on, everybody? I hope everyone's having a fantastic evening, fantastic afternoon, fantastic pre-noon, no matter where you are in the world. I'm Hasan Piker. This is the HasanAbi broadcast coming to you live. Thursday, 11:18 a.m., June 26th, 2025. Are you a fan of the Spain national soccer team? Yeah, that's why I'm wearing their fucking kit. Viva España, baby. So that's some good news. Every Zohran interview goes like this.
Mamdani.
Oh, I saw this one. This is great. Yeah.
People see you and they assume that you wish death to all Jews. How are you going to convince them you don't? But you do view Palestinians as people. I mean, that makes people uncomfortable, obviously. But do you love Israel? How much do you love Israel? You are obviously Muslim. So I don't really... That's kind of... People don't like that. Your skin's also pretty tan. People are getting uncomfortable. How are you going to convince them that you're not a terrorist? When are you going?
It's so crazy, and it speaks to the permissibility of Islamophobia and how permanent a fixture it's become in American politics, and how quickly Americans like snap back to this post October 7. That like questions like this are not immediately condemned. You know what I mean? People don't go, "What are you doing?" Like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean that you can like create a victimhood structure around the hysterics of one group, and just like that gives you the opportunity to be as racist as you want? It is kind of wild.
Are you going to Tel Aviv? When are you going to Tel Aviv? Andrew Cuomo is representing Netanyahu. Why don't you do that? Is it because you don't love Israel? Why don't you love Israel? Do you think that Israel should exist as a Jewish ethno-state? You seem to think that it's okay to criticize Israel. Why? Why is that? It's because you're anti-Semitic. Okay?
It's like having a racist white commentator or like a racist white guy running around and being like, well, you're black. Why do you want to kill every cop? As a black candidate, your presence makes me fearful. It makes me feel like you are anti-Christian. It makes me feel like you want to take over the country and make it a black supremacist country. People should be like, okay, I don't think he's anti-Semitic. I think he's anti-Israel. If you want to have a conversation that's fine. Even though, you know, how much you want to have that conversation, probably not the best time to have that right now if you're pro-Israel, because not a lot of allies around. Okay. But like it's just like, what are we doing? What are we doing here? Here is, I guess, Joe Rogan. I don't know what breezy politics is. By the way, my brother said that he started seeing this breezy politics stuff on his timeline a lot on his YouTube, and he's got like a very normie YouTube algorithm. So I don't know what this is. I don't know what's going on there. But he said he started seeing a lot of this breezy politics shit on his timeline.
New York City debates, the mayoral
I heard.
debates.
I got involved, and I'm supporting Mr. Mamdani.
A lot of people are. Well, especially after that debate.
Right.
It seems like everybody else was essentially saying, I've been to Israel more than you've been to Israel. Like, I'm going to go to Israel before you do.
Right. They think they're campaigning to be foreign, minister for Israel or something.
Where would you go first?
The Holy Land.
Go to Israel.
Fourth trip to Israel. First trip to Israel.
Mr. Mamdani.
I would stay in New York City.
That's so awesome. I love Breezy is 100% anti-Semitic. At least the comment section in the videos are explicitly HasanAbi. I've seen it on Instagram as well. Yeah, I don't know who this guy is. I just saw, the only time I heard about it is from my brother. But I will say this. I love seeing the normie perspective and what their takeaway is from this like long interview, like this long debate. It was like 2 hours long, right? And it's so fucking funny that that is what remained. That is what they were, that was their primary takeaway, because that's what the media wanted to be the primary takeaway. I think this was a severe miscalculation.
Their view on this, of what this means, okay? Your victory. What do you think it means?
I think it means that we are ready in the most expensive city in the United States to have 5 boroughs that New Yorkers can actually afford. And this entire race was about the question of affordability. And ultimately, I have run a campaign that speaks about the tools that city government actually has to deliver that affordability in the wealthiest city in the wealthiest country in the world. And it's time that we have a mayoral administration that follows through and actually delivers that.
All right, so I want to talk about some of that, but first the breaking news. Isaac DeVere is reporting that Andrew Cuomo is not dropping out of the general election race, right? And it's kind of a willery-woney, but the deadline's tomorrow. Is this a surprise to you?
Ultimately, Andrew's decision or my decision matters less than the decision that voters already took on Tuesday night, where we won from Bay Ridge to Diker Heights to Harlem to Washington Heights. We saw a mandate delivered for a new generation of leadership. And I am so proud and excited to continue to build on that mandate with an ever-expanding coalition, one that has now included the endorsements of Congressman Jerry Nadler, of State Senator Brad Hoylman-Siegel, and Manhattan Borough President, soon-to-be Controller, Mark Levine. And ultimately, that is a coalition that will continue to expand through November.
Right, so you're saying no matter what. I mean,
Name
Andrew
some
Cuomo's
Jewish people, Zohran.
It's not like a redo where you're worried?
No, not at all. I mean, we did it once, and it turned out pretty well.
All right, so now can we talk about the policy? The policy is what stood out to a lot of people. But right, I said the freezing rents on half of the apartments, free bus service, the free child care.
It's so crazy because it's like, this is, you have to do that.
How do you pay for that?
Let's go through it. So for the first thing, freezing the rent, that's not something that requires any fiscal output from the city. It's something that's determined by the Rent Guidelines Board, composed of 9 members. The mayor picks each of those members. They determine each year whether rents rise or whether they stay the same. The previous mayoral administration froze the rent 3 times. So this has clear historical precedent. When it comes to city-run grocery...
Even Adams. You're saying Adams.
No, this is prior to Adams.
Okay.
He's the current one who has raised it 9% on those same New Yorkers, pushing them out of their homes. City-run grocery stores, I've proposed a pilot program of 1 store in each borough. These are 5 stores in total. The total cost of this is $60 million. This is less than half the cost of what the city is already set to spend on a subsidy program for corporate supermarkets that has no guarantee of cheaper prices or collective bargaining agreements or even accepting SNAP or WIC.
So you're not looking at some like Soviet Union grocery stores on every corner that are going to be run by the government.
No, what I'm looking at is how to solve the very clear twin crises of affordability when you go to the grocery store and food deserts, which disproportionately impact Black and brown New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs, where I've heard directly from New Yorkers who say, why is it that I can find 6 fast food restaurants in a 5-block radius, but I can't find a place to buy groceries?
But five boroughs, 5 grocery stores, but that can't be the goal.
Well, I mean, the idea
is the goal you want them on every. No. But in New York, things do go. There's a nail salon on every corner. There's a grocery store on almost every other corner.
I think ultimately I'm guided by outcomes. If this pilot succeeds in guaranteeing cheaper groceries, as I think it will be, then yes, it should scale up. If it doesn't succeed, then no, it shouldn't, because what New Yorkers want are results. And then it comes to making buses free and universal childcare.
Right.
These are things that cost around $700 million, and let's say about.
She says Soviet Union stores. Is that what she said? Oh my God!
But have to be understood in the context of a $113 billion municipal budget, a $252 billion state budget, and we put forward a plan to pay for these and more to start Trump-proofing our city through 2 major revenue streams. Increasing the top corporate tax rate of New York to match that of New Jersey, that raises $5 billion, and increasing income taxes on the top 1% of New Yorkers who make $1 million or more a year by 2%. Both of these things, after they come to fruition, you're still paying less than you did before Trump.
Okay. On the city tax, though, and I know that takes effect with people right now, that top rate of people of 50,000 or more. So if you're going to be adding 2% to people at $1 million, that I just did the math, right? Well, but that's going to be an increase of 51% of what they pay now. I'm not saying cry for them. I'm saying if they leave, you're not going to get that money. And when you increase someone's taxes by 51%, aren't a lot of people going to leave?
We're saying we're increasing it by 2% of what it is right now. And ultimately, I'm guided by the facts. The Fiscal Policy Institute did an analysis of the top 1% of New Yorkers and found that they leave the city at 1/4 the rate of other income categories. And when they do leave, they leave to what are called high tax states, New Jersey, California. So what it then comes down to is, why are they leaving? Is it fiscal policy or is it actually quality of life? And I've heard that time and again from wealthier New Yorkers, from all New Yorkers.
So it's talk. They're going to go to Florida and all you think is talk.
In 2021, when I came to the state assembly, we had the same fight.
It's
to
fine.
fund
This is
public schools,
contentious,
to raise
but it's
taxes
not
on
that
billionaires
bad
and
because I'm used to
corporations.
people just being like, why are you Muslim?
And we now have
Why
more
do you want to
millionaires.
kill
Okay,
every
so the New York
Jew?
Times is saying that Mayor Adams
So I guess this is
trying to
better because
gather
it flushes
business
out
leaders
his
to support
policies.
him to say this is going to be bad. And Bill Ackman, billionaire hedge fund manager, of course you know of him, New Yorker, he said he agrees with you that the city's broken, okay, but he has a real problem with your economic policies. He said the ability for New York City to offer services for the poor and needy, let alone the average New Yorker, is entirely dependent on New York City being a business-friendly environment and a place where wealthy residents are willing to spend 183 days, the amount you need to be taxed, and assume
why would
the
you
associated
bring up
tax
Bill
burden. Unfortunately,
Smokes
both parties started
Crackman as a
making
fucking
arrangements for
reasonable
the exits.
orator
So
here?
you just think
he
that
wrote
isn't gonna add up. And by the
40,000
way,
words
that
on
corporate
Twitter.
tax
That
rate
enough
that
is
you're talking about,
discrediting.
that's a
That
big
alone is
increase.
discrediting.
That's matching 7.25% going to 11.5%. And the point of it is that if it works for our regional neighbor, why can't it work for us? And with Bill Ackman, this is someone who put $500,000 into Andrew Cuomo's super PAC, someone to whom clearly money is not an issue. And ultimately, even for him, life would get better. Because what I'm looking to use this money for is to make the quality of life across the city better.
Okay, so when people say democratic socialist, right, and I'm curious what you think this means. I mean, do you like capitalism?
No, I have many critiques of capitalism. And I think ultimately the definition for me of why I call myself a democratic socialist is the words of Dr. King decades ago. He said, call it democracy or call it democratic socialism. There must be a better distribution of wealth for all of God's children in this country. And that's what I'm focused on, is dignity and taking on income inequality. And for too long, politicians have pretended that we're spectators to that crisis of affordability. We're actually actors, and we have the choice to exacerbate it, like Mayor Adams has done, or to respond to it and resolve it, like I'm planning to do.
Open presents. Thank you for the 100
So,
gifted.
you know, for people who say that America was built on, and a lot of immigrants, and obviously you speak from an immigrant experience. I mean, you came as a young child, but you speak to a lot of people who came much more recently, that they come to America because they believe in capitalism. They believe that if they work hard and make a lot of money, that that's part of the American dream. Do you think that's not part of the American dream?
I think the dream at its core is a dream for stability in one's life. And what you're saying, that you work hard enough and that you then reap the benefits, too many New Yorkers and Americans for that matter are working 8 hours and then still feeling like they haven't made enough money to keep living in the city they call home. And ultimately, what I'm focused on is making the city affordable for everyone, not to win an ideological argument, but to deliver on the mandate of
So when
this
Mayor
campaign.
Adams, you just heard him come out and he said, soup, silver spoon. He talked about manicured nails to refer to you,
you
right?
can see
I was looking at him. You
They're not
can
looking that
show him
great
to
right
everybody. What do you say to him?
You know, I understand what he's doing. He's trying to distract from his own record. His is a record where he raised rents on more than 2 million New Yorkers by 9%, and he's considering another 8% increase. His is a record of raising the water bill to the highest it's been in 13 years, supporting Con Edison when they wanted to increase New Yorkers' gas and electric bills by $65 a month. I would much rather talk about me than I would about his record if I was him. And so that's what he's going to be doing over the next few months. And we will continue to remind New Yorkers what's on the ballot. It's affordability.
All right, Assemblyman, please stay with me. Our conversation with Zohran Mamdani continues right after this, because the truth is his rise in the Democratic Party has been meteoric. And tonight, ICE Director Tom Homan is weighing in on Mamdani's win, somebody that Mamdani has confronted.
I think Aaron Burnett is a hostile entity here, for the record.
Live Aid.
I think Aaron Burnett is hostile. Like, straight up. Do you think some of these interviewers are starting to like him? It doesn't matter. They're paid not to. Okay. Like with Zohran, it was a perfect storm. All of the different puzzle pieces fell right into the appropriate places. He's a guy who worked in state politics. He's charismatic. He has the same opinions that we do, and also on top of that, he's a great
primary
orator.
for New York City over Andrew Cuomo for New York City mayor. Before we continue the conversation, I just want to play, because that's what this is, play more of Mamdani telling his story.
So to quote the words of a famous New Yorker,
this is my favorite
allow
speech
me to
of his.
reintroduce myself.
Not this part.
I was born in Kampala, Uganda,
This
in
part.
East Africa. I was given my middle name Kwame by my father, who named me after the first prime minister of Ghana.
I moved to this city when I was 7. This is the city I fell in love with, the city where I got my citizenship.
I wish they showed the rest of that speech.
He's been in the New York Assembly for 4 years. And before that, he was an aspiring rapper under the name Mr. Cardamom. Listen.
Bow down for you. Hit the ground for you. Make a sign for you. Give a crown to you.
Once you do it, it's out there. It never comes back. It's there.
Didn't think it was going to be on CNN.
It's there, and there it is.
Yes!
So what do you say to people who look at your background and they wonder? They say, okay, rising star you may be, but this is the largest city in America, $112 billion budget, 8 million people, and a hell of a lot of problems. And they say,
What does that have to do
okay,
with
whatever
his
the future
background?
may be, you're not ready now.
I would say that a campaign offers a glimpse of what an administration would look like. And we built a campaign the likes of which the city has not seen in a long time. We started with 2 full-time employees.
Oh my gosh, you
and
used that to
now
present
we're
him as an
managing
unserious
50,000
immigrant.
volunteers. At the beginning of this race, there were questions of whether we'd get 50,000 votes.
What the
and yet
fuck?
we had 50,000
volunteers.
50,000 volunteers who knocked on 1.5 million doors, made 2.1 million phone calls. And ultimately, it's a story of not only being able to inspire people, but absorb that inspiration and build an organization. And I think that's also the story of what it means to run a city, that you are ultimately responsible, but you're also determined by hiring the best and the brightest. And that's what I will be doing in City Hall. I'll be hiring those that have a clear track record of excellence, of results, that come from a wide variety of mayoral administrations, and finally bring public excellence back into the public sector.
All right, so you caught a lot of attention for confronting Tom Homan, Trump's border czar, about the deportation policies, which have a lot of impact here in New York. Here you are. So that moment went viral. All right. Then after the primary, Homan was asked about your plan, which is on your website. You said that you would end the city's cooperation with ICE agents that has been going on under Mayor Adams. And he has spoken out. Here's what he said.
Good luck with that. Federal law trumps him every day, every hour of every minute. We're going to be in New York City. Game on. We're coming.
Game on. He's coming. What do you say?
That I'm going to be here to stand up and fight back. And unlike the current mayor, I'm not going to be working alongside the Trump administration to build the single largest deportation force in American history. I'm going to actually represent each and every New Yorker. And that includes immigrant New Yorkers. And that means standing up for the laws of this city, like our sanctuary city policies, which have kept New Yorkers safe for decades and were defended by Republicans and Democrats alike for years until we got this mayor who fearmongered about them so extensively.
Does that involve the NYPD?
It means that the NYPD would actually serve New Yorkers and not assist ICE in their operations. We recently saw ICE agents.
So they would not assist ICE?
Not assisting ICE, because ultimately their job is public safety. And I know officers who are signing up to take on serious crimes, not to be a part of the force that is arresting a pastor who's peacefully observing the arrest of a migrant at Federal Plaza.
All right. So a moment ago, you talked about how you didn't know if you'd get 50,000 votes, and you ended up with 50,000 volunteers. They knocked on doors. There are many in the country who might look at that and say, okay, that makes me think of somebody else. Somebody else who took on I'm trying to think of the right word to use, but somebody who expected to win and therefore didn't campaign that hard and lost. And the person who did that was Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, right? Famously also here in New York. She endorsed you early. She helped you. She just spoke to Manu Raju, our Manu Raju, a few moments ago. She said the Democratic Party needs to pay attention to your success right now. Here's what she just told him.
We have a choice to listen to that message that people are sending us or not. This isn't just about Mr. Mamdani as an individual. This is about the message that the people of New York City are trying to send
No, I have many
party.
critiques.
So there's now talk, that your victory puts her in a whole new light. right? It puts her and Bernie Sanders, not that they were seen as fringe, but they were seen as a wing of the party. And that instead of being a wing, that becomes more of the center, and that you are part of that. Do you see it that way? And do you see those who say, look, your victory propels her to
This
a
is a good
presidential
question. It's
run
not
in
a bad question.
2028?
It's antagonistic,
She's
but it's a
been an
good question.
inspiration, and it's been an honor to be represented by her as an assembly member in Astoria for many years. And I think about a senior who works at a child care center that I met in Sunnyside, Queens, who told me that I'm not a progressive, but I realized when I looked at Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Bernie Sanders, they were the only ones who were willing to fight for me.
Yeah.
And that's what so many New Yorkers and Americans understand, is that these are the two individuals who have been willing to take on this oligarchy and actually stand up for dignity for Americans.
Before you go, one last thing. Bill Ackman, I just mentioned him as
Oh,
right, he's the billionaire hedge fund manager, but he's not alone. There are a lot like him, whether it's Ken Griffin or CEOs of big banks. Would you meet with them?
I'll meet with anyone. I will meet with them and I'll explain why I believe in the necessity of raising the top corporate tax rate. And I'd also tell Bill Ackman that I firmly disagree with his attempt to dismantle diversity, equity, and inclusion across the country, because it's not only against the morals of so many, it's also against the actual bottom line for so many businesses. And as a businessman, he should understand that.
All right. Well, Assemblyman, thank you very much. We appreciate your time. Obviously, right now, center of discussion in the Democratic Party. And tomorrow on CNN, New York City Mayor Eric Adams will be on the lead with Jake Tapper. That will be at 5 o'clock. And next, we take you to Venice.
Okay. So that's some good news.